Hello students, this video is a continuation of chapter number 18, Observing Space Telescopes for Standard 9th. You are watching part 2 of the video. Telescope is an instrument which is used to see the objects that are far away. These telescopes are often used to view the planets and stars. So those telescopes which are made from the regular lenses like the concave and the convex lenses and mirrors and which are used to see the visible radiations which are coming from space are called as the optical telescopes. Optical telescopes are of various types. So first we will begin with the study of the refracting telescopes, which is a type of optical telescope. The refracting telescopes are also called as the Galilean telescopes. Refracting telescopes make use of the phenomenon of refraction of light. Now what is meant by refraction? The light rays change their direction while traveling from the atmosphere or air into the lens and from the lens once again back into the atmosphere. A refracting telescope has two types of lenses. This large lens is called as the objective lens and the small lens is called as the eyepiece lens. The objective lens has to be large so that maximum possible light can be collected from the source. And after using or after collecting the maximum amount of light from the source, then the eyepiece, which is small in size, will produce a large image of the source. So such telescopes which make use of two or more lenses are called as the refracting telescopes. Although a refracting telescope is very useful for space observation, it has many shortcomings or difficulties. So let us see what are the difficulties in using refractive telescopes. To obtain a bright image of any source by collecting maximum possible light from it, the objective lens should be large enough. However, it is very difficult to make such large lenses. Also, large lenses are very heavy and these lenses tend to get distorted under their own weight. So what happens because of large lenses is that the quality and the clarity of the images is completely affected. So the first difficulty in using a refractive telescope is that we require a large objective lens, which is very difficult to make. Also, such large lenses are very heavy and they tend to get distorted. The second difficulty in using the refracting telescopes is that as the objective and eyepieces are placed at opposite ends of the telescope, the length of the telescope also increases with the increase in the size of the lens. So it becomes very difficult to manage the telescope. The third difficulty is that lenses create images which are distorted, and this is called as chromatic aberration. This chromatic aberration occurs because when light passes through a lens, then different colors bend to different extents or through different angles. So these are brought to a focus but not at one point. Each light ray will end up at a different focus, and because of this the stars or maybe the planets, when seen from such lenses, are surrounded by a rainbow colored halos. So we will not be able to see the stars and the planets clearly because we can see that there are errors of colors when we see that object. So we call this as chromatic aberration. There are difficulties in using lenses in the refracting telescopes. So to overcome these difficulties which are caused by the use of lenses in the refracting telescopes, the telescopes are made by using concave mirrors. So when light rays fall on these concave mirrors, the light rays will get reflected now. So such telescopes which make use of concave mirrors are called as the reflecting telescopes. Reflecting telescopes are the type of optical telescopes. The reflecting telescopes are of two types. They are the Newtonian telescope and the Cassegrain telescope. The Newtonian telescope makes use of a plane mirror and a concave mirror, whereas the Cassegrain telescope makes use of a convex mirror and a concave mirror. We'll begin with the study of the first type of reflecting telescope, the Newtonian telescope. So this is the ray diagram of a Newtonian telescope. A Newtonian telescope makes use of a concave mirror and a plane mirror. So in the Newtonian telescope, you will see the light rays. So these are the light rays which are coming from space. So when these light rays fall on the concave mirror, you will find that the light rays get reflected. Okay. However, these rays are once again deflected by a small plane mirror before these reflected rays converge at a point, that is the focus. So these rays get focused here. You can see the focus is here at this particular point where these rays are meeting. So this focus is a point which lies perpendicular to the axis of the telescope's cylinder. Okay, what is the position of the focus? It is perpendicular to the axis of the telescope's cylinder. Now these rays pass through the eyepiece and we can get a magnified image of the source. The Cassegrain telescope. The Cassegrain telescope makes use of a concave mirror. In this case, the rays of light travel from space and fall on the concave mirror. These light rays get reflected from the concave mirror, and after reflection these light rays are once again reflected back to the concave mirror with the help of a convex mirror. These reflected rays then pass through the hole of the concave mirror and then through the eyepiece, which is situated at the back of the mirror. The eyepiece then gives a magnified image of the source. India's largest and first of its optical telescope, ARIES, that is Aryabhatta Research Institute of Experimental Sciences, is located at Devasthal in Nainital district at a height of about 2500 meters. The ARIES optical telescope has a mirror which is about 3.6 meters in diameter. The telescope facility has been incorporated with high-end technology, which enables it to be operated with the help of remote control from anywhere in the world. ARIES optical telescope has helped in the study and exploration of stars, planets, magnetic field, and astronomical debris. It has also helped in the research of star structures and magnetic field structures of stars. It is the largest optical telescope in Asia. Radio telescope. A radio telescope is a telescope that is designed to receive the radio waves from space. Radio telescope has three components: one or more antennas to collect the incoming radio waves. So most of the antennas are parabolic in shape. So this is the parabolic shape. This parabolic shape reflects the radio waves and converges the radio waves at one focal point. Then there is a receiver and an amplifier. So the receiver and the amplifier form the other components. The receiver and the amplifier receives the weak radio signals and then amplify these signals to a measurable level. There is a computer or a recorder. The information that is gathered by the receiver is passed on to the computer recorder, which analyzes and constructs the image of the source. The GMRT, which stands for Giant Meter Wave Radio Telescope, is a large radio telescope which is erected at Narayangao in the Junnar Taluka of Pune district. It uses radio waves having wavelength of about a meter which comes from the heavenly bodies. This telescope is actually a collection of 30 dishes, each having a diameter of 45 kilometers. So it is a giant telescope as an arrangement of about 30 dishes, that is 30 antennas, which are positioned in a Y fashion over an area of about 25 kilometers across. So it works as a single dish having a diameter of 25 kilometers. The scientists from more than 40 countries are beneficiaries of the data which is obtained from GMRT. Operated by TIFR, that is the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, this telescope has been used for making path-breaking discoveries. Scientists study the solar system, solar winds, pulsars, the supernova, the interstellar hydrogen clouds, etc. with the help of GMRT. Children, visible light and the radio waves which are emitted by the heavenly bodies in space can very easily pass through the Earth's atmosphere and can reach the Earth's atmosphere. So these waves as well as a visible light can be very easily trapped and recorded and seen very clearly and studied very clearly with the help of optical and radio telescopes. So optical and radio telescopes can be erected on the surface of the Earth. Also, as compared to space telescopes, the ground-based telescopes have much more to offer. They can be built bigger in size and for less money. They are easier to maintain and upgrade. They are also at a much lower risk of being damaged by the pieces of debris which are flying through the cosmos. But scientists and engineers are turning towards space telescopes because there are a number of difficulties in using ground-based telescopes. So let us see the difficulties in using the optical telescopes or the ground-based telescopes. When the visible light travels from a heavenly body and enters into the Earth's atmosphere, it is found that the intensity of the light decreases because the light is absorbed into the Earth's atmosphere. So the first difficulty in using optical telescope is that the intensity of visible light coming from a heavenly body decreases due to its absorption into the Earth's atmosphere as it passes through the Earth's atmosphere. Also, due to the changes in atmospheric temperature and pressure, the light rays change their path. Also, if the air is turbulent, then it blurs the light. So many ground-based telescopes cannot take sharp images of the objects which are present in the space. Optical based telescopes cannot be used in broad sunlight, that is during the day. Also during the night, city light and cloudy weather causes difficulties in getting clear images. So there are solutions to overcome this problem in the use of optical telescope. So what can be done in order to reduce the difficulties in the use of optical telescopes? To reduce all these above problems, the optical telescopes are situated on top of mountains in uninhabited places. Also, to get rid of the above problems completely, the best thing is to place the telescope in space above the Earth's atmosphere. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration, that is NASA, launched the Hubble telescope in April 1990. It is the first major optical telescope to be placed in space. Hubble telescope has a mirror of diameter of about 24 inches. It is orbiting around the Earth at a height of 589 kilometers from it. It travels around the Earth at a speed of about 5 miles per second. The Hubble telescope takes pictures of planets, stars and galaxies. The Hubble telescope is named after an astronomer named Edwin Hubble. Edwin Hubble made important discoveries about the universe in the early 1900s. The Hubble's telescope is still in operation for more than 25 years. The Chandra X-ray telescope was launched by NASA in 1999. The Chandra X-ray Observatory is designed to detect the X-ray emissions from very hot regions such as the stars, cluster of galaxies and the matter around the black holes. So the Chandra telescope shows us a side of cosmos that is not visible to human eyes. Special mirrors which can reflect X-rays have been used in this telescope. This telescope is named after an Indian scientist named Subramaniam Chandrasekhar. Subramaniam Chandrasekhar was actually an Indian American astrophysicist who was awarded the 1983 Nobel Prize for Physics for his theoretical studies on evolution of stars. Indian Space Research Organization, that is ISRO. India has made remarkable progress in science and technology of launch vehicles. We have had many research scientists and astronauts in India. To name a few, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, Kalpana Chawla, Dr. Abdul Kalam, Rakesh Sharma, the list is endless. The major contribution of India in space and technology is because of ISRO, that is Indian Space Research Organization, which has its headquarters in Bengaluru. ISRO was established in the year 1969 and the main aim of ISRO was developing technology for making and launching of artificial satellites. ISRO holds a record of over 100 successful space missions. It is amongst the top 6 government space agencies in the world. India's progress in space science has played a big role in national and social development. ISRO has launched a series of satellites. For example, the INSAT and the GSAT series of satellites is actively working in the field of telecommunication, TV broadcasting and meteorological services. So availability of television, telephone and internet services all over the nation has been possible due to the satellites INSAT and GSAT. Then the EduSat series is used in the field of education. The IRS satellite series is working for monitoring and management of natural resources and disaster management. To locate the position of any place on the Earth's surface in terms of precise latitude and longitude, the IRNSS satellite series has been established. AstroSat. AstroSat is India's first multi-wavelength astronomical observatory. AstroSat was launched by ISRO on 28 September 2015. It has carried out about 1166 observations. The AstroSat has explored stars, star clusters, small and large galaxies of the Milky Way, gamma ray bursts, supernova, etc. The AstroSat has ultraviolet and X-ray telescopes and even the detectors. And the most fabulous part of this satellite is that most of the parts of the satellite are made in India. So this is a unique system of having different kinds of telescopes on one single satellite.